Hi, everybody. Good morning for the third time. I thought I was going to make a fairly short video, but I did not time it very well. I'm finally getting to the point here. In the first video, I explained how to listen for shortcut speech that we often do in speaking English in the United States. And in the second video, I gave you a story which I tried to tell with correct pronunciation. I am aware that sometimes I do not speak completely clearly when I'm not focused. So when I read it, I tried to be focusing on the pronunciation. Now I'm going to tell you the same story. You should listen to that video first so you understand what I'm going to say. But now I'm going to tell you the same story, probably as closely as I can, in a manner that sounds like I probably would use if I were speaking quickly to another American who understands these shortened forms very well. So I will get right to it. I put together this little set of paragraphs so you can hear what you're probably going to hear most of the time. And I'm going to try to talk exactly like I do in normal conversation. And like I said before, I'm going to read this in class, and I'm going to make a video too. And now I'm making the video. So I'm going to tell you a story about trying to get my internet service changed over. I've still got a contract with Mega Cable, and I got it when I moved into the first house where we lived in here in Las Terrazas. And the reason I picked Mega Cable is because I thought they'd have service in all the cotos here. But well, it turns out that they don't. But that doesn't matter because there's no other cable company on the last street anyway. But for my business, I had to get something else, at least until Mega Cable can get their act together. And this is the story of what I had to do in order to, well, I haven't got it done yet. I haven't done it yet. I had to really fool around to try to get a second internet connection. Just a minute. I just accidentally scrolled past my text. Anyway, I'm back to it. Um, so anyway, I had a lot of questions. And still nobody could give me an answer. I just wanted to find out if they had service through Megacable to my Koto, but nobody could tell me. I almost could not believe it. I couldn't believe what they told me. Here's what happened. The first time I went to Megacable with my modem and my ID, I figured that was all I was going to have. And of course, it wasn't. Actually, the very first time I went was in the afternoon, and I should have been there super early, but I wasn't because there were like 20 people waiting in line. And, it was a really long line because they put these marks of these X's on the floor, and you're supposed to stand 1 meter away from the other person and things like that. So it makes it seem like it's even longer. And I thought, no, I'm not waiting here all day. And so the next time I got down there, the second time, they also were just unlocking the doors. And there was a guy ahead of me. That wasn't so bad. At least I wasn't going to have to wait more than a few minutes to get to talk to somebody. So I told the lady that I'd moved from an older area in my colonia to the new street where there's still construction going on. They're still building houses up here. And I even brought my bill from CFE. Well, actually, I forgot to say that I went early one other day before that, but I shouldn't have forgot the CFE bill. The first time she told me that I had to have comprobante de domicilio, and we call that proof of residency. And I asked her, "Can't you just check and see if there's service on my street?" And she said, "No, no, no, you got to have proof of residency." I thought that was rather dumb, but I had running across this kind of attitude everywhere. Whenever I tried to do anything here, you'd think that somebody would care, but really they don't. It seems that like people who work for bigger companies, they are never really, they're not really not, they're never willing to try very hard. So okay, I went home. And I got my electric bill for proof of residency, and of course the next time it was a different lady at the window. But I got there early and I didn't have to wait. There was just one guy in front of me in line. And I got to the window and I gave the lady my ID and my electric bill, and I explained to her again that I'd moved and I just wanted to find out if they could connect my service on this street yet. And so she looked up and she said something like, "Well, I don't know, because that street's not on the installation map yet. So that probably means it's not there yet." So I asked her if she could call somebody to find out. And in a few minutes, she came back and she said, "Well, if you've got other things to do in Centro Sur, I'll get you an answer in a while." So I said, "Okay." And of course, I'm telling you this in English, and I'm talking like the lady would talk if she were an American in the US. And of course, all that was really in Spanish. But if I were to explain it in Spanish, I wouldn't be able to illustrate all this lazy talk in English, right? So I'm telling you what happened in my own English. So anyway, I did. I had to go get some stuff done at Walmart, so I went and did that, and I came back in a couple hours. Well, then she didn't know anything still, so I asked her if she could make a copy of my bill and my ID and just send me a message on WhatsApp. Of course, no problem. But they didn't do that, of course. So the next day I was back there at opening time again, second guy in line again, new lady this time. And we went through the same stuff again. And she looks at my address, stares at the computer for a while, and finally she says, "Well, there might be service there. Maybe not. You should go ask one of your neighbors if they've got Megacable." And, and so I looked at her kind of in disbelief. I said, "I'm the customer. I'm here to find out if you can continue my service here. I'm already paying my bill. Here's my modem. I just want to connect it to my new house. You're the company, and it isn't the customer's job to find out if there's service here. That's the company's job, isn't it?" And she didn't have an answer. She said that if I could give you get she actually said if I could give her the account number of another customer on the street, she might be able to know if they could connect to my house or not. So I just said, "Gracias," and that was it. And of course, if there is a cable in the ground that I could connect to, it would belong to Megacable or Telmex, because the other companies that offer internet service by cable, like Total Play, for example, they would be renting the cable from Megacable or Telmex. So, of course, I tried talking to Telmex on the phone, and I got left on hold for over 30 minutes, two times, without being able to speak to a human person. So that was pointless. But in the meantime, I got this radio link internet service, which is called Coeficiente, and it looks like it's a point to point communication system that maybe gets its service from a ground station on the next peak over, the next mountain over, which is called El Tapatio. Whatever you call these lumps of earth that we live on. We live on Cerro del, como se, I have to say this again, Cerro del Cuatro. I still have trouble with R's in Spanish. Cerro del Cuatro, which is a 20,000-year-old inactive volcano, and we live near the top. So of course we got a great view, and I've got internet that seems to work pretty reliably. I just like to have a backup service. So That's my story of internet connection told in sloppy American English that sounds pretty much like the way a lot of people back in Ohio, where I came from. I have also printed the proper version and I've printed the sloppy version. Now I think I'm only going to print the proper version. The sloppy version, just listen to it. Just listen for those phrases. If you want to catch on to the American pronunciation, listening to a lot of this is the best thing to do. Do not try to learn to do this for a while. Just get familiar with what you might hear. But I would not recommend trying to imitate these shortcuts until you're really, really good at understanding like 99% of what you hear when you hear someone speaking American English. So thank you again for making it all the way through this video. Actually, it turned out a little bit shorter because I was speaking faster. So thank you. Listen for shortcuts. Subscribe to my channel to learn all kinds of fascinating stuff about understanding and speaking American English, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.